Hi everyone, my name is Gerald and I come from the tiny red dot on the world map known as Singapore. So Singapore has a very high cost of living where the cheapest 3-bedroom government subsidized flat runs for at least $300,000. And we also have a very fast-paced work culture over here. Back in my full-time job, I usually start work at 9 a.m., which is kind of late in Singapore, but I would end on average about 10 p.m., often leading up to midnight just to rush for my boss's deadline the next day or my boss's deadline the next day. Everyone here is like very educated. I think the young people here, like almost everyone's a diploma, if not a degree holder. And what I realized was that this wasn't just me. In fact, most of my friends also run through the same routine where we work very long hours and get very stressed out over life. It's also very hard to quit because we have nothing to fall back on to pay for our bills. And it's very stressful to take a step back to think about building multiple streams of passive income because all the time I'm just so tired. And I realize this is not the norm for just myself. In fact, all my friends experience the same thing. Like, we know that we are caught in the rat race and we want to build multiple streams of income, but we just don't have the energy or the time to go and figure out, how to dabble into these multiple streams of incomes. So in this video, I want to share some ideas on how you can get $500 through each stream of passive income. I'm going to share what worked for me and what were some of the struggles as a Singaporean, and hopefully I can inspire some of you friends to make 2022 a fantastic year to build multiple streams of incomes through some of the methods that I mentioned below. So if by the end of this video it inspires you, do leave a comment below on what are your goals for 2020 and hopefully we can reach them together at the end of this year. Before I start though, I want to make a quick disclaimer. Some of the methods, in fact all the methods I propose are relatively high risk because I'm seeking for high risk, higher returns, and they are not like perfectly easy. But I'm sure all of you are quite intelligent. You probably figure out how to get things done in the safest way possible. But what I assure you is that all the things that I mentioned below definitely works and they do make money. In fact, I'm going to run through with you some of the numbers and expected returns so that you can have a basis, right, of roughly how much you can make through this passive income method. So if that sounds Gucci to you, be sure to hit the thumbs up and let's get started. So the first method of building passive income is through cryptocurrency mining. So cryptocurrency mining is basically using some form of hardware to mine cryptocurrency for the crypto blockchain. Basically, think of you as the facilitator for transactions, right? When people transact through the blockchain, you are acting as the middleman to verify that this transaction is accurate. So by cryptocurrency mining, you are helping make the blockchain more reliable, more secure, and in return, you get paid in cryptocurrencies, which you can cash out as a form of passive income. So there are different forms of cryptocurrency mining. Like you can use your hard disk, you can use your GPUs, which is a computer part, and also different sorts like your Wi-Fi. You can even use your time to mine cryptocurrencies. But based on what I found, the most profitable one would be GPU mining, or in particular, Ethereum mining. So how I got started with Ethereum mining was that it was a friend who introduced to me staking, which I then wondered, would staking or cryptocurrency mining be more profitable? And it turns out cryptocurrency mining is a lot more profitable than staking. So then I started to teach myself how to set up, how to maintain, and everything. So it took me about 2 months before I started to build my first setup. So I had to learn how it works, how to build, how to go and buy cheap parts and then build it up for myself. So the setup can be learned on YouTube quite easily. For the maintenance, it's only like I think once per half a year. At the start, it was hard because it was you were building the parts together. But once it's set up, it runs pretty smoothly for like half a year. I haven't touched my boys in like half a year and they don't complain. But bear in mind, one of the downsides to cryptocurrency mining is the physical inconvenience of having physical hardware, usually an exposed hardware, running 24/7. So it can get a little hot as you get a lot, if you have a lot of devices in the house. It's also definitely not cat and child safe. In fact, I have this corrugated paper just to block my cats from entering the room. And with so many fans running, you need to make sure that your family is okay with the noise, or your other tenants or your neighbors okay with the noise. Not to mention, it's not environmentally friendly, but you are helping secure the blockchain in some sense. So pros and cons there. In terms of returns, when I first got started, I bought my parts cheap because people were still worried about the 2018 cryptocurrency crash. So at that point in time when I started, I was getting about 15% return net of my investment every single month. But right now, if you were to buy at current market prices, you can expect about 3% a month. But after June, it should drop to about 2% a month. So that means if you want to earn $500 in passive income every single month, you need to spend about $13,000 in GPU mining rate, which is not unattainable. So let's move on to idea number 2, which is to lend money to people. When you think of lending money, you would think that government bonds is the way to go. Yes, government bonds do give like a nice 1%, 2% return, I think, if you put it in for 10 years. But personally, that rate of return is just too slow for me to make a lot of wealth, to sustain me, to be able to get out of the rat race. So personally, I prefer to take a higher risk approach. And the approach that I use is through yield farming, my cryptocurrency coin, or if not, stable coin yield farming. If this sounds complex, basically, I turn my Singapore dollars to US dollars and my US dollars to US dollar coin, which is a cryptocurrency that is like 1-for-1 to US dollar. And then I lend this US dollar coin to other traders, and in return, they pay me interest every single day to use my US dollar coin to trade. So there are a lot of platforms that make this process simpler. One of them is HoldNot, which I do use, and they have a rate of 12.7% compounded annually, but I think this figure is going to drop. If you're a little bit more savvy, you know how to use decentralized finance, which has a lot of risk. The number can go up to as much as 20% off of your US dollar denominated coins. So for calculation's sake, I'm going to keep it really simple and use HoldNot as a benchmark. If you want to get like say $500 in passive income every single month, you would need to deposit $50,000 in Singapore dollars in order to get $500 every month, because it pays 12% every single year. If you'd like to get started with HoldNot, I have a referral link to the Singapore company. It's in the description below. Now let's move on to idea number 3. Idea number 3 is to start a YouTube channel. So when I started YouTube channel, it was nearly like, I don't know how many years was that, 10 years ago. And the funny thing was that I posted I think 4 or 5 videos. Then I quit for like 3 or 4 years. And to my surprise, they actually make money all the time. And even till today, the oldest video that I posted still makes me passive income. So if every video can make me like $1 a month, then my thought was like, if I can make 1,000 good videos, I should be able to, get by very comfortably for the rest of my life. But it turns out the process is actually a lot faster, because the more videos that you make, they kind of help one another and it compounds and it grows faster. So how do YouTube videos actually make money is that when you upload a video to YouTube, YouTube works with advertisers to advertise through YouTube. So those video ads that play before a video, the advertisers pay YouTube, and YouTube splits that profit with you on a half-half basis. So the more advertisers pay, the more money you get. So just think of your TV ads, except now you can be like the TV channel that runs ads. And it's all done automatically on YouTube's end. So apart from running ads on the channel, you can also make money from running affiliate partnerships. Basically, you have sign-up codes that your audience can use, and in return, it gives your channel a small kickback and helps you sustain your YouTube channel. So the good thing about YouTube is that it doesn't cost a lot of money to get started, but it takes a lot of time to get the channel up and running, to learn the skills required to make a good YouTube channel. So for me, I take approximately 8 hours to 12 hours video, but let's just assume that on average it takes 12 hours to make one video. And if you need to pursue it for 2 years, right, and 2 videos a week, that's about 1,664 hours. So if that's all the time that's required for you to build approximately $500 worth of passive income every month, then you need to decide if that time is worth building the stream of income. For me, the really hard part for YouTubing is finding topics that make good money and to make videos very consistently every single week without fail. So the hard part about YouTubing for me was to find like the right topics and channel that really makes money. In fact, I think some channels do not make money at all. Then the next part was basically to make high quality videos on a consistent basis for like 2 years. But the point is that if you put in the effort, you put in the time to learn, it definitely can be done, and a lot of Singaporeans are making passive income through YouTube. So now onto my 4th passive income idea, which is through dividend investing. So in the Singapore context, if you want to invest in dividends, the best place in my opinion is to invest in REITs, which is real estate investment trusts. Why? Because Singapore properties tend to hold its value very well, so the crashes do not affect it as much as compared to the stock market, and the dividends is relatively stable. However, it is very risky to borrow a lot of money and buy just one property. Then you would have basically concentration risk. So what I found to be very effective is to be able to have a means of investing in Singapore properties, but also diversifying across different properties. And that's when a REIT would come in. So all the REITs in Singapore can be bought through the stock trading app like your Tiger Brokers, your Moomoo. And it's really cheap. I think the transaction fee is like $1 per transaction. and you can buy in as little as like $100 to get started. So when I read online on the forums to what is a good REIT to buy in Singapore to stay diversified across all the different companies, Lion Phillips S REIT actually pop up because it is basically a low-cost way to access 28 high-quality Singapore REITs, and it's diversified across different industries like your industrials, your retail, and much more. And it's very Singapore focused. To look at the past 10 years track record, if you reinvest all the dividends, you get approximately 7% compounded. But at this current price range, which is I think a bit on the low side, it gets about 4.5% dividend every single year, and it's paid twice yearly. So if you want to get $500 in passive income every month, that would mean that you need to invest approximately $135,000 in today's market to get $500 every single month. So of all the techniques, I think this is the most expensive to get started, but it's probably the lowest risk amongst the other methods. So comparing the four methods, I think the REITs path would be a longer term plan that I hope to be able to achieve. But for now, I'm taking higher risk approach so that I can get more returns and hopefully funnel some of the returns into REITs in Singapore. Because 135,000 is going to take years for some of us to build. But don't worry, let's start small and eventually we'll get there together. If you have any questions on how you can get started, feel free to ask me in the comment section below, and check out other videos on passive income or cryptocurrencies over here and here. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone.
Let me think first.
No problem.
Okay, should I read out the title first or no need?
Huh? No need, just start with your first line. Then you look at
Okay.
breathe in, remember the line a little bit, then look at the camera and just start.
If I fail, I just restart again.
Yeah, just start again.